Hey people, Indrid here. Welcome. I'm your host, teaming up with Paradox Interactive to bring you all you need to know about Age of Wonders 4, Ways of War. Today, we're looking at the new forms and the Oathsworn culture. So let's get into it. Swinging into action first, the Simian form. These fellas come with the cheerful trait, increasing morale gain in battle. This can allow them to turn around poor tactical situations with extra crits and have a good old laugh while doing it. Next up, the hulking Ogrekin. Along with their fearsome appearance, the Ogrekin bring the inner fire trait. Suiting an aggressive playstyle, this trait grants fire resistance and punishes those that strike them in close combat with some heat. Maybe stay away from them, eh? Alongside these new physical forms come new mount trait options. The Blessed Dragon, giving a ruler and units a flying mount to soar over the realm and take into battle. We also have the majestic Graceful Judge mount, a cavalry option that grants extra hit points and a Touch of Grace ability, granting a stack of the Grace buff, which heals upon taking damage. These traits will of course be yours to mix and match with others when customizing your own forms. Oathsworn cultures swear dedication to a certain code of ethics and gain strategic and tactical advantages for sticking to it. Be wary though, as straying from your oath means losing the adoration of your citizens and the fervour of your units. The Oathsworn culture has a lean towards extra draft of their structures and a base order affinity. It is then split into 3 subcultures, each representing a different oath and bringing an additional affinity, their own units and unique strategic and tactical mechanics. One thing they all share is the devotion system. This is a measure of how closely you are adhering to your oath and following the will of your people. It has 5 levels, from the shunned Oathbreaker to the highest level of Paragon. Each oath benefits from stability bonuses in cities if they can maintain high devotion. However, variation comes when you consider which actions affect your level of devotion and the tactical rewards for doing so. We will look at each oath in turn, then check out what they can bring into battle. First, the Oath of Harmony. This oath is all about seeking kinship, cooperation, and unity with your surroundings and other factions, while ridding the realm of dangerous elements. Strategically, this translates to improved relations with free cities and rulers, helping you to foster positive interactions and get everyone liking each other. Well, at least liking you. If you do have to defend yourself in a war with the Harmony Oath, vassalizing conquered cities becomes smoother, as they will start in the vassalage phase instead of the usual and sometimes rebellious tributary phase. A unique special province improvement is the School of Contemplation. Counting as a conduit, it grants extra mana and knowledge, and has adjacency bonuses with other conduits and research posts. As for their devotion, they gain it through positive interactions with other factions and the world around them, such as having vassals or cities from other races, making the world safer through clearing infestations and wonders, making a truce, and also for forgiving grievances against them. On the other hand, they will lose devotion for starting wars, raising or migrating cities, and fabricating grievances. That's right, they don't even like it when you try to lie. Tactically, their devotion feeds into the harmonized trait of their units. This gives them an automatic heal when falling below 60% health, which of course scales with the devotion level. You can use this for a defensive approach to battles, knowing that you can rely on a free heal when taking hits, and forming a strong front line to protect your ranged, battle mage and support units. Next up, the Oath of Righteousness. This oath is about doing what is morally right and good. These people detest evil actions, and you will gain double evil alignment points for your abhorrent acts. Their devotion track reflects this, with your level being directly tied to your alignment. This means you may have to choose non-optimal options during events and general gameplay in order to keep good alignment and not fall foul of your oath. Their special province improvement is the School of Discipline. This counts as a conduit and grants mana and draft, with extra draft per adjacent quarry. Tactically, your units have the Nobility trait. This rewards your good deeds and devotion with extra spirit damage on non-flanking attacks, helping you to defend the weak and crush evildoers more efficiently. Lastly, the Oath of Strife. For those that take this oath, war and glorious battle has become an obsession. They live for conflict, especially if they are outnumbered and the underdog, and shun all forms of peace and cooperation. Strategically, this translates to gaining grievances with any ruler who is ranked higher than they are, facilitating their ability to start justified wars. Raising cities and pillaging provinces is encouraged, as those actions will take less time and also yield Imperium. This makes them well suited to an aggressive, strategic playstyle, gaining territory and resources through early conquest to give them a strong foundation for taking on greater foes and alliances that can emerge in the mid to late game. Their special province improvement is the School of Mastery. Counting as a conduit, it grants mana and draft, and further supports their war effort by bestowing +1 starting rank on units produced in the city. As for their devotion, they of course gain it by winning battles, with more devotion accrued for winning against armies with a higher combat rating. They also gain it by entering wars, raising cities, and not letting units rout when given the choice in events. When it comes to losing devotion, they will do so for losing cities, leaving wars via a truce, or entering into any kind of defensive pact or alliance. Vassals are also not welcome for those following the Oath of Strife, making free cities prime early targets for destruction. Tactically, their aggressive style continues onto the battle map, as climbing their devotion track brings extra damage when they're outnumbered, punishing those that see them as easy targets that lack allies. Let's now take a look at what the Oathsworn can bring into battle. First, their spells. Each of the culture tomes has an enchantment so that non-culture units can pledge their allegiance and gain the tactical devotion benefit. They also have Counter Stance, a defensive buff in a 1 hex radius that gets your troops ready to trade well in melee with First Strike and other buffs. Rounding out the culture tomes is Devout Radiance, a 1 hex radius spirit damage spell that scales with your devotion level. Now, onto their units. First, their Scout, the Wayfarer, a mounted unit that has the unique Retreat Expert trait, meaning it can always escape battle and will reappear at your thrown city sooner. As for combat, the Sworn Guard is a tier 1 polearm unit with attacks that can sunder enemy defences. Use these guys to target cavalry and large foes who threaten your backline, attacking first to make them easier to finish off by compromising their defences. Next up is the Honor Blade, a tier 1 fighter unit that has impressive defensive stats for its tier, but comes in at a greater recruitment and upkeep cost. This guy is a brawler with a powerful defensive strike that hits hard and puts the Honor Blade into defense mode. With some support behind him, he can dig in and trade well with other frontline units, making him a powerful early vanguard for your armies. And now in tier 2, the Vowkeeper, a support unit, especially important for helping to potentially manage a large frontline early, as the Oathsworn culture lacks a tier 1 range unit. The Vowkeeper can manipulate status effects. Their single action Purging Blast magic attack can remove a positive status from an enemy, and a Vow of Purification removes negative statuses from an ally while also granting them status protection. She also has the powerful Vow of Healing, a full action area of effect heal. Also in tier 2, the Sealbearer Battle Mage. These guys are different for each oath. The Oath of Harmony, this guy excels at helping you take down big threats. He has a full action Resonant Seal ability, dealing a chunk of damage at good range and inflicting the Seal of Resonance status on the enemy. While afflicted, the Sealbearer's basic Seal Bolt's attacks cannot miss the target, and all attacks against it deal additional blight damage. If you can position your army in a way to take advantage of the seal, even the toughest foes will fall. For the Oath of Righteousness, the Seal of Transference deals spirit damage, and causes all allies striking a target to heal temporary hit points, helping to sustain your armies in battle. For the Oath of Strife, the Fire Seal deals fire damage with a bigger initial hit than the others, and then more damage at the start of the target's turn. That's big damage from a single tier 2 unit at range 6, giving you a great way to nuke the enemy's backline from safety. The Oathsworn are unique, as each subculture has their own tier 3 unit, that gains an additional ability when you're at the highest Paragon devotion level. For the Oath of Harmony, we have the Peacebringer, a mounted range unit with a repeating bow attack, and the mobility to find angles for a line shot that will strike targets in a 3 hex line. If at Paragon Devotion, the Peacebringer gains the Arrow of Harmony, a powerful long-range full-action attack that can leave enemies pacified, rendering them unable to do any kind of hostile action. The Oath of Righteousness tier 3 is the Avenger, a shock unit with a charge strike and the immense Helm Splitter attack. This is a full action that deals heavy physical damage and ignores half the target's defences, punishing those that dare to try and stand and trade with the Avenger. If you're at Paragon Devotion, he gains Radiant Slash, a line attack dealing spirit damage that blinds targets. Blinded targets cannot retaliate, making the Avenger even more dangerous in a prolonged melee fight. Finally, the Oath of Strife. Their tier 3 unit is the Warbound, a shock unit with a very big beat stick. Not happy with a mere charge attack, this guy has a flaming charge attack, dealing extra fire damage based on the distance charged. He also has Bulldoze, moving him forward 4 hexes, damaging any enemies in the way and leaving the Warbound with an action at the end. This allows the unit to excel at getting into enemy backlines and obliterating their softer targets. With Paragon Devotion, the Warbound gains Infernal Blaze. Activating this damages adjacent enemies with fire, punishing your opponent for surrounding him to try and bring him down. It also gives him 3 stacks of Infernal Might, granting extra fire damage on attacks, so it'll hit even harder next time. Well, that wraps up our look at the Oathsworn's units and brings us to the end of the video. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for all things Age of Wonders 4. I've been Indrid, and thank you all for watching.